What is going on, everybody? Me and Fonzie, my dad, are in here with some guy that drove a long way to not shoot a thing this weekend.
That's not true.
Shot a few. But we're here with Combat Waterfowl. Rob, I appreciate you coming up. And it was, awesome getting to know you and the guys here. And I don't know, who is Rob, the face behind Combat Waterfowl?
Man, that's a tough question, man. I like to waterfowl hunt, man. I picked it up when I was 16, and nobody in my family waterfowl hunted at all. I was the only one, and I started actually one with a friend of mine. The first time wood duck hunting, did that for really ever until I got stationed in Alaska. After I got stationed in Alaska, I got exposed to a lot more different types. I never really left the state when I was a kid. Didn't vacation much or anything like that. And so getting to go to Alaska and be involved in all that big game hunting and waterfowling up there, first time seeing sandhill crane, first time seeing a speckled belly, first time seeing a snow goose, any of that. So being up there, I just got sick for it. And, that's pretty much all I do anymore. I don't deer hunt anymore.
Man, bad as Marshal. Sick for it? Come on.
Well, he does a lot more than I. He deer hunt, hog hunt, all that. I don't do any of that.
Wearing frog tog bibs this morning.
Yeah.
What kind of bibs you wearing?
Dude, those are Shin.
We found another Shin. I guess Shin hasn't made it a mission.
No, dude, the other day,
slowly getting there.
The other day at the hunting club, I had on them Shin bibs, and some kid comes up to me, and they all wear like Bottomlands. And he walked up to me, and he was like, "What's that from? Temu TikTok shop?" I was like, "Dude,
that's unreal."
I was like, "You're wearing Drake. Calm down."
And then you went and put on the Bottomland, and he told you had a good fit on it.
Yeah. Then I was like, "All right, well, I gotta go take this shit off." I went and put some Drake.
Take this shit off.
Went over there, and he's like, "You look better now." So, thanks, man.
Your approval means everything.
So for you, you started off waterfowl hunting, and then what made you think of a brand? Or
Yeah, I actually didn't. It had nothing to do with me. So a friend of mine, Cody, I was painting decoys for a company at the time, and Cody was like, "Man, you really should start a hat and t-shirt company for your decoy thing." And I was like, "No, I don't want nothing to do with this. I'm good." Then he kept on, and eventually I agreed to do it. And so I told him, I was like, "You're gonna have to come up with a name, though. I don't really want anything to do with this, but you're so hard pressed against it. We got to." So he called me, I don't know, a few days later, and he was like, I got the name. I got it locked in. I was like, "All right, what?" He's like, "Combat Waterfowl." And the first time I heard it, I was like, why?
On the fence.
Why? No, it wasn't that I was like, no. I just was like, why? And he was like, "Well, I was coming on base," because he was still active duty, and he was stationed at Fort Lee in Virginia, and he had his CIB as a combat infantryman's badge pinned up into his headliner, and then kept his military ID in the little sunglass thing up there, and he went to go get it to hand it to the gate guard, and he seen that right there, and he was like, "Combat Waterfowl." And so I was like, "All right, man, I can rock with that," and here we are, almost 6 years later.
Pretty crazy how everything kind of just full circle.
Yeah.
Something that kind of being a veteran and then the love behind waterfowl, everything that, I don't know, perfect fit.
Yeah, it's so the plans for the business, I guess, in the early stages were way different.
Right.
the parody stuff and all the things that we're into now was not the plan for the business at all, in any way. Originally it was going to be different series. We're going to have the 41 series, and it was going to be, lifestyle photography, of that bird in its environment doing what it does, like a king eider in the Bering Sea, like photo art, like what you guys have hanging on the walls. And then we were going to have a lifestyle series that was going to be off-season activity, decoy carving or call making or, stuff like that. And then you have the guide series. So the guide series was going to showcase the different ways that you waterfowl hunt across the country. From, in Eastern Shore, Maryland, they do this thing called body booting. So they wear a wetsuit pretty much, and they hide behind a big swan decoy with a little ledge, and then
a ladder right there.
Yeah, so you have all these different kinds of hunting. So I would showcase that stuff.
It's pretty interesting.
And it didn't work. So nothing was working. Which now, knowing what I know now, it's just that it didn't catch at the right time. It hadn't caught yet. But we gave up on it when funny worked. So we came out with this croc shirt, and it said it's not a shoe, it's a lifestyle. It was something simple. and it took off. And then I was sitting at an airport in Dallas, and I was sitting in the bar, and this guy beside me, he had ordered a Budweiser, like a regular Bud Heavy, you know, and set it on the counter. And I started like looking at it, and I seen all like the words at the top of it. I never paid attention to a Budweiser bottle because I don't drink it. And I was like, man, it would be funny if like made everything on this like about mergansers.
See, that's the first time I've seen you guys. In a shirt.
I know, it was that shirt right there for me.
And so that took off like crazy. And then we came out with a coot shirt, and we were selling them like crazy. And then next thing you know, I get a cease and desist. I guess there's some random lodge in Wisconsin that it's like an Airbnb, I guess, but the guy called it Coots Unlimited, and he locked Class 25 rights down for it. Class 25 is apparel.
I lived in Wisconsin last year. Where's that at? I've never heard of that.
If you Google Coots Unlimited Lodge or something, it'll show up in Wisconsin. So that guy, those people that own that, sent me a cease and desist. And so Cody called me and was like, man, like, we got to do something. We got to do another Coot shirt. And I was like, yeah, like the other one we had was selling so good, like we need to. And I just started working with this artist, and so I was like, Cody, if we're gonna do this, man, like we need to do it crazy. Let's take a coot and let's put like gold chains on him, leg bands, like double bandits. And then I was like, yeah, standing on a pile of Bush Light. You know, put American flag in the background. Cooticus was born, and it changed the brand like forever.
Cooticus.
Yeah, Cooticus Maximus.
Oh my God, that's unreal.
That is cool.
So when's the Sexy Red shirts coming out, man?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know about the Sexy Red. We might have to.
Oh, I got an idea. I'll tell you about it. It just popped into my head.
Here we go. Here we go.
If you guys see a Sexy Red shirt, it had everything to do with him. You can thank Kyle for that.
I got you.
You and Marshall talking about it, weren't you?
I haven't even got no panties.
I just been out of my business.
I ain't got no panties on.
Bow, bow, bow.
You know Marsh will be rocking that in his shin gear. Man.
Oh, bro. We might have to do a Dirty Marsh Sexy Red shirt. Marshall's got a brand, Dirty Marsh Outfitters, that we run together. That's
cool.
Yeah, it's cool.
So when did you start, Marshall? Recently? I know you told me a little bit of a story, but if you want to get into it, you can.
I started mine. I was 17. I'd gotten into some trouble, like DUI, speeding. It was like 6-7 charges, and had no money. I was 17. I just graduated.
Ain't keeping it real.
And so I was like, dude, I got to do something. So I had my platform or whatever. So I came out with one round of shirts, sold them all like the first week. And then I just kind of like would here and there, I would do something to get some money through school. And when I was in college before I dropped out, and then I got hooked up with Rob about a year ago, a little over a year ago now, year and 3 months now. And then that's when I was like, all right, we can take it serious, and it's just been rolling from there.
Hell yeah, man. I feel like a lot of things like that happen though, from shit in your life that happens like that, and you're kind of like stuck like, damn, I gotta start moving different.
Yeah, you be like in a bad spot, and then ever since then I've been like, you know, bad things don't have to have bad outcomes either. You can have good outcomes out of the worst things in life.
I agree, 100%.
That's pretty cool.
Not a lot of people look at it that way.
You should be in like philosophical, man.
No, this is a whole new Marshall.
Dude, you put a microphone in his hand, it's like a new person.
He turns into Kodak, man. He starts speaking of testimony.
Probably walk in and
They got me up there with Aristotle.
wearing a tuxedo T-shirt saying you like to party, but you're also here to be formal too.
John Locke and shit.
So 2019, you started Rob, and you started moving all over the place. I mean, you're hunting all over the country, coming from not leaving the state. Now you're everywhere.
Yeah. So I got out of the military in 2015, and I started the Ultimate Waterfowl Challenge. And I think that's really what hooked me into it. A guy, his name's Eric Bakken. He founded an organization called the Fallen Outdoors. Mm-hmm. And it's an organization that takes veterans on hunting and fishing trips. Anyway, Eric and I got pretty close, and he really mentored me a lot in waterfowl because Eric's like diehard for it too. And so they had just started the UWC, and I was like, man, like I really want to do this. Right. And so I picked it up and did it in barely over a year. So like all of one season, and then like a partial of another. Wow. And it was 15 states in Mexico. It was like 36,000 miles in like a year and a half. It was crazy, but I got to see like a lot of it, and a lot of it I got to do with like friends of mine, or you know, a lot of it was I spent 2 weeks in Washington. Eric and I did a ton of that together with his dog Sarge that just recently passed. So it was like an emotional journey, but at the same time it was like force feeding information, and so you know I was learning so much about the different species of birds, and you know, because if you think about it, the way that challenge works, and I encourage anybody that watches this to please do it, because it forces you to pay attention. It's a drake only challenge, so you have to identify these birds on the wing and target a drake. So if you're trying to get, you know, a greater scaup, for instance, you know, you guys are loaded up with them here in Erie, but they're not as common down in North Carolina. We have a lot of lessers. So, you know, now you're going to have to do research. All right, well, where are these graders hanging out at? I'm going to go set up in this area, get this particular bird. And it changes your hunt. When you go and you say, you know, a lot of people go hunting and they're like, yeah, well, I'm going for a limit. And then when you're in that mindset, you're going for that one bird. And so it really changes the way you think about waterfowl hunting, and it encourages you to be a lot better at species identification, and just learning about the habitats and what makes you a great waterfowl hunter, and, you know, scouting and food sources. What are these birds eating? When are they moving? How are they moving? All of that.
That's our podcast. I mean, that's the breadth of line that we try to teach is trying to the right way like that. That's one of the best ways I've heard to learn just now.
But what most people, I don't think they realize is that if they really want to think about it or be honest, everybody that's serious in this has a mentor that came from somewhere.
Oh, 100%.
You know,
Yeah.
Even if you're self-made, self-taught, like you followed somebody else, or you watched somebody else's moves, and then you learned and you picked up things of your own. But I think that it's super important if you dig into the, I guess, the ethics and the morals of the sport itself, and pay attention to the birds.
That's a big thing, though. I mean, dissecting like every little species and understanding different movements. Like when you came up, I think it was Friday night. Birds gonna feed in the morning time, and you never heard of like birds not even moving when it's cold and sunny out. You're used to them.
Yeah, if it's cold, they have to feed. You know,
Right.
And that's experience from, you know, like the prairie pothole region and stuff like that. Like those birds, and they'll leave birds on the water, of course. Like they don't all vacate, but
Right.
they're trading back and forth, eating all day because it's so cold and there's so much available protein in the fields that they just they got to go. They got to eat.
And then here, if it's cold, they're not moving if it's sunny out.
Yeah.
If it's cloudy,
No,
it's
they'll
one
stay
thing,
grounded.
obviously, but this is what's kind of cool, seeing the country and seeing different flyways and what it's all about over there. That's pretty cool. What about you, Marshall? You shooting them all up? You on a 41?
Hell nah. Hey.
South Carolina's like got wood duck, man.
Yeah, we hunt at home wood ducks. Now I go with Rob. I really didn't hunt with Rob until last year. So in the past year, I didn't hunt out of state for birds at all. I mean, I've been out of state and we've shot, you know, deer, whatever, fish, whatever. But in the past year, I've got to see. Well, we hit 12 states probably last year, something like that.
Something
And
crazy.
we've hit a bunch this year, and so it's cool to learn how everybody hunts differently apart.
Yeah.
Like I never even laid in a layup blind until last year. And
Really?
A-frame, it was just water. That's all I'd ever hunted was water. So it's
You gotta
cool.
think about where we're from too.
Yeah.
You know, like the Carolinas, and like especially, you know, I'm from Central North Carolina originally, and he's from, you know, Central South Carolina, and so, you know, it's not like there's, you know, all these fields with you guys. I mean, you guys kill the mallards in the field up here. No, late season and cold like this, that'll never happen where we live. Period. You're killing wood ducks in the swamp predominantly, and we have some good local geese, but that's a September thing, and you're really not doing too much on them later in the season.
Primarily wood ducks and like teal.
Yeah,
You
wood.
get some
Not
teal?
even really a lot of teal, really. Wood ducks primarily in the swamps, and then you know, certain pockets or certain areas of at least North Carolina. I can't speak to South, but you know, certain pockets of the state have a lot of like corn impoundments and stuff, and they'll hold some puddle ducks and all in there. But at the coast, you really get a little bit of puddle ducks, a lot of divers and sea ducks, common and surf scoters and bufflehead, bluebill, redhead. We used to have, I think, a lot more canvasbacks, but canvasbacks are almost rare where we are anymore. So
That's pretty crazy.
That's
Probably
wild.
changes.
It's
It
kind
changes
of
a lot.
crazy coming from a state that you grew up in, and like where you're at now in the waterfowl industry, and like how you're chasing them all over the country. Like it's kind of crazy. You'd think it'd be more like a North Dakota thing or something. You know what I mean? Like a guy from there that wants to go all over the place.
no, I mean, so I'll tell you this, bro. If I had the hunting that a lot of places that I go have, I would never leave home.
Right.
But you know, if you think about it, from east to west, you increasingly get more and more birds every flyway you cross. You know, the Pacific Flyway has the largest diversity in most population. In Washington State, you shoot 36 out of 41 species right there in that state alone. I would never leave Washington if I lived there. Like why?
That's crazy.
But I live in
Bunch of
North
witch,
Carolina,
yeah,
bro.
bunch
Like
of witch,
you know,
yeah.
like I want to do more. I want to do more than divers and sea ducks and wood ducks. Like I
Right.
want to see, and I enjoy. I guess the coolest part about traveling, is you see the different ways that people hunt, but you also, get indoctrinated to like their culture where they are.
Right.
Like their local, even though like their local town, and just learning about how they live and all of that. Like to me, that's just as important as the hunt.
I can relate to that a lot, like traveling with hockey and living in different states all the time and like going around, and that I think that's what kind of, because I traveled a lot last 2 years for out of state hunting, like in that it's cool, like you said, to see the whole culture of it and see that the way that they do things and the different tips and tricks that you can pick up. But I think it makes you a very well-rounded hunter too, also when you do that kind of stuff as well.
100%.
I mean, you just got to be able to take that in. But I'm glad that I got to show yourself, Marshall, and Nick the turtleneck capital.
Dude, I'm telling you, hey,
It was a wild week.
if you guys are gonna come up here and hunt with these boys, just be prepared. The places that they're gonna take you.
Did you hear about last night?
Bro, Buddy the Elf, we had drunk
Dude, it
redneck
was bad.
Santa and a freaking the Easter Bunny was up there
Pink
playing
Bunny? Yeah, it was
obnoxious
bad.
music, and Nick was over there jamming out to talk about this. Hey, this is a hit song in Texas from the 1950s. This is my favorite.
It was a Robert Earl King song.
No, you were playing in the truck on the way home. You was playing it the whole way. Christmas music. Rob was like, turn this shit off, dude. Dude, that shit was so funny.
Even the first night, though, man. Like that place usually isn't like that.
Yeah, it was a little bit.
So you guys say.
There's a lot of sugar in that.
No, I don't
So you guys say, he says.
It was cool to see a grandpa wearing Air Force Ones and a puffer jacket with some joggers. I'm not gonna. I've never seen that, bro. Hey, Unc had drip. Hey, he had drip. Bro.
did.
I know he's knocking something down at night, dude.
Yeah, for real,
Got
bro.
to be.
He had that goose on, man.
Somebody dressed up Grandpa real well.
I know. Dude, I'm going to be honest with you, man. Like I told you guys, I don't know what happened that night. There's supposed to be a
Yeah, I
war.
would probably say that too, bro.
It'd be a, dude, it's bad. It's bad, bro. Yeah, I'd be over there 3, 4, 5. Yeah.
We had some good laughs, though. I mean, that's what it's like for me, like having you guys up. Yeah, it sucks that the birds didn't cooperate. I mean, they were there, obviously, but, like the what we've done, the friendship and everything else like that, like just experience, I guess.
What was Nick's fault that the birds didn't work?
Who?
It was Nick's fault.
Oh, yeah.
No, it had to be
No, it was Carter's. It
I
was
blame
Carter's.
Carter's.
Yeah.
It might have been yours because I don't think you've showered the whole time we were. It probably smelled you
showered last night.
Calling you out.
for the first time
What? Since the day before?
since Wednesday.
Since the day before.
Since Wednesday.
Yeah, big shower.
He's trying to portray me
We'll
as
go on like.
he's trying to portray me as the stinky kid in class.
No, we'll go on trips. Like, but you gonna shower today? He'd be like, nah, I'm a hunt, and then we're gonna shower. And then he'll get home from hunting, and he'll take a nap, and he'll be like, I'll go eat, and then we'll take a shower. And then he'll be like, oh, well, I had too much to drink. I'll just shower in the morning.
If you're around this dude, you have to shower before him, because if you don't, you're never gonna have hot water. The dude takes like an hour-long shower,
man.
gets out. I guarantee he's got it in the truck
shit.
right now. He's got this
Same
pink
shit.
hair dryer, and then he sits there with this pink hair dryer for like 15, 20 minutes, blow
I will
drying.
say sharing a bathroom with Marshall, it's a lot like the bathroom at my house with my wife.
With your wife.
Yeah, lots
dude-
of hair care.
Dude, I enjoy my time in the bath. That's like my personal time.
hair dryer.
He's got to have the
I
banana
can't even
girls.
say anything, bro, because I'm the same exact way as him.
45 minutes in the shower. What do you do? What do
Bro,
you do?
I'm in there thinking about life, dude. I'm over there, plotting my next moves.
You got a hair dryer?
Not
You
that.
use- Okay, I was gonna say.
No, not that. But I do take 2 showers a day, morning and night. Long as about it, 45 minutes each. I sit in there, I stretch, I do my shit.
Stretch?
Oh, I think.
What do you
I swear.
In the shower?
Yeah.
What do you got with them like
You got like a-
person shower?
And dude, I
You got like a hidden closet in there?
That's turned it into.
Man, I wish.
He's in there doing push-ups.
I wish, man. I get in there. It's my zen. I relax.
Before you know it, you're wearing frog talk.
Yeah.
Bibs, just like.
Yeah.
Frog Tog.
Frog
No, that's my, what's that brand? Tidewee, Tidwee?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
Tidewee.
Richard Simmons over here in the shower.
No, Richard Simmons was at the bar. That's where y'all took me to Richard Simmons bar. That's where y'all took me.
And in the shower when he's
Hey,
done.
man, I try to take care of my body.
Yeah, you're doing a good job.
I'll tell you what, though, the Tidewee, you ever have any other stuff?
No.
Now I got some turkey blinds that we use.
I do see their blinds on there.
Because I ain't
You're a
seen it. I
hater,
ain't put my
man.
hand on it yet.
No, I am a hater about anything. I'm not gonna lie. I am a hater.
Anything?
Anything.
Anything. He'll find something to hate about.
What's because you in them Timu frog dogs?
I just hate it because I ain't got it, ain't it? That's what it is.
I don't know. It was a tough weekend. I mean, I guess we could talk about that a little bit.
They were there.
You guys were nervous. I was nervous in the morning after they didn't really fly around too much.
No, they didn't fly like at all.
And you guys
we watched like one group like fly around.
And you guys were beat tired too, so that didn't help out. We stayed up way too late the night before, looking at Grandpa dance on the floor.
That wasn't all we were looking at, bro.
No.
Well, that was.
I mean,
Yeah, you can't even get into
If your takeaway from that was Grandpa in the puffer jacket,
No, you can't even get into what we were
Now I
looking
see why
at
you
on
took it.
here.
I see
bro,
why you
that
took
place
it.
had a whole different like category of novelty.
It was like sectioned off, man. It was sectioned off. You had the turtleneck crew in the corner.
Oh boy, with the first aid kit and
Yeah.
survival rafting.
Survival raft.
Oh yeah, I think in a blow.
I mean, we are close to the water.
I do want to know what he had in his pocket. I want to know. I have no idea. Dude, it was the size of like a bottle of mustard.
Yeah.
Like, that's how big it on both pockets.
Robert even reenacted it.
Yeah, I did. Yeah, I did. I put the mustard in my
Ketchup.
pocket.
What? I didn't see that
Yeah, I
shit.
put ketchup. You missed it.
Bro, this dude's pockets were slammed full of all of them, of something. And he was out there just
He fucking Napoleon Dynamite that shit with tater tots in his pocket?
Bro, there's no telling
I don't
what's
know.
in there.
You got to start off. He had a sweater tucked in, and he was the only dude on the dance floor, just like totally in his feels out there, all by himself.
Oh, that guy.
Yeah, and then homie in the turtleneck with the felt, the felt,
The velvet jacket.
Blue velour jacket.
Yeah.
with the gold chain outside of it, outside of the whole turtleneck, just chilling there.
It looked like The Rock back in the day when he had the turtleneck with the.
Yeah, with the chain. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that
He had
was.
hair.
Well, I guess that part right there is sounds like it was more exciting than the birds this weekend because you guys the takeaway from the weekend with the Great Lakes Outdoors guys is
You guys like to take
The
people
after
to
parties.
really screwed up places.
No,
God, don't
that's the
That's-
takeaway.
I'll
That's
say though
bad.
too, it ain't good if a guy says they should make man purses okay.
bro.
Yo, that was
No.
You said that?
No, I didn't say we should make them okay. I said imagine, like, if you go way back, like, we're not setting the standard, but the standard was already set that men carry purses instead of women. I was like, it'd be pretty badass. I would have one to, like, match my clothes, every outfit. Like, I'm not saying that I'm trying to set that standard. I was just imagine.
If
like,
it was already built into society
yeah,
and it was
bro.
normalized.
Imagine, like,
Yeah.
okay, buddy at the bar the other night wouldn't have had his pockets full of shit.
Yeah, that's true.
He would have had it in his purse.
This is
Gotta have somewhere to hide the ratchet, bro, you know?
Yeah, bro. You know how easy it'd be to conceal a Draco? I don't have to carry it in my jeans anymore, bro. Just put it in my purse.
He had his pink hair dryer right up in there.
A Louis Vuitton blind bag.
He'd have to move his RPG out of the way to get to his hair dryer.
Dude, I want to know where you can buy RPG. That video is badass.
Timu.
What video? RPG video?
Now, there was a video of a dude in Florida, and he was like stupid rich, and he
Yeah.
pulled into his driveway in his Lambo, right? And he gets out and walks into his garage, and a Jeep full of some YNs pull in, and they're like trying to jack his Lambo, and he runs into his garage, and he walks back out with a rocket launcher and gets on a knee and points it at their car, like he's about to blow their car up. And,
Oh, shit.
and these kids will leave his Lambo and run as fast as they can back to their car. And
You got the video?
I swear, yes, I'll
Dude,
find
send
it.
it to me,
I will.
please.
100%, dude. It's the greatest. It was on the news and all.
Tell me they climbed out of like a Nissan Altima.
No, they got I wish it was.
Oh God.
That'd have been badass.
That's crazy.
So yeah,
Bro, you gotta send me that. I'm gonna fucking die watching that video, man.
the nights at the bars were pretty crazy up there, man.
It's wild because I don't know. Like I said, I keep saying that, but I've never seen that.
I gotta. Y'all should go down and talk to them about renaming that bar. Like, I mean, Captain Jim sounds cool, but Turtleneck Timmy sounds.
Turtleneck Tim's.
I'll see what I can do for
Yeah,
next
we
time
know
you guys
some-
come up. I'll
we
see
know
what I
some
can do.
It just hits different.
Yeah.
It just hits different.
I bet it does.
Back to the wrong crowd. Well, I can't even say that because it's already doing that right now. So I don't know. But Saturday morning comes around, no birds flying in the morning, and you come out in the afternoon. Come up to me and go, "You think they're gonna fly?" I said, "I know they're gonna fly. It's just a matter of when." I said that in the morning even.
Yeah.
When they flew yesterday, they were like gnats in the sky. It seemed like just one
the
after
sky,
another.
The sky was black for sure. It's just unfortunate. Geese do that though.
Yeah.
Geese do that.
They're so hard to pin, dude.
Like they just do goose things. Like there was how many dozen decoys were sent out there in that field?
I think 15.
I
or
was saying
something
close
like
to
that.
15
Yeah.
to 17. Yeah.
It's not like they couldn't see us.
all
And then they land
all
300
all
yards
full bodies too.
right in front.
It's a 3D. For when they're looking down, that's 3D. It's not no silhouettes. Too.
It was very weird, very weird. And then I don't know if you guys seen at one point it almost looked like the ducks were too thick, or the geese were flying under it, vice versa.
Pushing them out.
Yeah, and,
Yeah.
They had to like just flare out of the way and do another circle around. It was.
Yeah.
Well, once the ducks mixed in with the geese, then you're put in that position. We were talking about that last night.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, well, if you've got spinning wing decoys out in the field, you're trying to draw these ducks in, and then they mix in with geese that hate spinning wing decoys. It's like, okay, well, now do we want to shoot ducks or do we want to shoot geese?
Right.
And you almost got to pick one. But at that point, those ducks were so intermingled in that flock of geese that those geese started bailing out, and those ducks, I thought they were going to peel with them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought those geese were going to go. They were going to go with those geese, and wound up. Shot got cold about at the last second for us to be able to get anything, and then that whole double banded money band situation was pretty awesome.
Is that the? Have you seen one in person before? Or
I've
no?
never seen a money band in person. Now
Really?
I've seen it on somebody's lanyard before.
Yeah.
But as far as like being part of a hunt
Of a hunt with
where
one?
a money band was harvested, never seen
I
one.
think the craziest part about that was,
How many birds there were?
well, yeah, I mean the bull sprigs I didn't get to see. I don't know if
I
you've
didn't
seen
know. I didn't see them.
How many
either.
people saw? I saw.
I didn't see them.
Okay.
I think only
Yeah.
a couple. I think it was mainly just
Brandon
the
saw 'em,
permanent
too.
line
Yeah.
guys.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, probably. We're a little
and-
bit higher up too, and they were. Yeah.
It got to a point where we couldn't keep on sending the dogs out.
Yeah.
We just had to leave some ducks out into the field, which we knew we had a couple out there because there's just like flock after flock looking like they're going to dump, but then dumping out in the middle of the field.
Right.
After the hunt, like time's up, we go out there. I find a duck, and I look on its leg, and it's like, that looks a little weird. And I thought it was a jack miner at first. I think I told you guys about that.
Yeah.
last night,
You
too.
said that.
And I grabbed it, and I'm holding it, and I already know what I'm gonna do with it.
Right.
And I look at it, it said reward. I was like, oh man, it's probably $20 or whatever. Maybe it's $100 reward band. And I'm like, wait a minute. Usually it's a double banded bird. Then look on the other leg, sure enough. So Brandon, I think, told you, Dad, that bird's probably banded because who holds a duck by both legs like that? And had Zach come over and start filming it and whatnot. And I don't know. It was just kind of a crazy whole situation there.
Yeah, it was.
nuts.
I mean, there were
seen it.
so
It
many
was-
ducks though in that flock to shoot that one that on the pass by like that. That's pretty fucking
The
wild.
hardest part about yesterday's hunt for me is that I'll just hold that. You gotta.
Yeah, I like it.
So no.
It was very natural with the way
Yeah,
he
the
told
way
it.
it's holding it was like.
Now you
this,
gotta see why they
soft
take us
touch.
to these places.
So no,
Get a discount, man.
the craziest thing about the hunt was obviously with you guys coming up and trying to get the best hunts we could possibly get, the late season, the weary birds, not knowing the weather, the wind, everything else, was when they did fly yesterday. The craziest thing is to figure out when to call a shot. Because you don't know if the birds are going to circle back around. You don't know if you're going to get another shot. Then all of a sudden, oh, here comes another flock. Here comes another flock. And it's so hard because when you have 1,000 birds in the sky, you don't want to burn everything to shoot 10 of them. So you're trying to do the best you can to get as many in a pile. And it just seemed like they just didn't want to do that. Like they just didn't want to all come at one time. Some would bug out, some wouldn't. And finally, I think, Kyle, you were just kind of like,
I was just getting fed up. with
yeah,
it,
hey
honestly.
man, let's kill them, and did it. They kind of took off here. They come right back in, and just a crazy thing. But being part of just watching that to me was really cool. And obviously the results isn't always there, but like we always talk about, if you're out there hunting and all you're caring about is a pile or what you're doing, but that money band yesterday, the double banded mallard, and I don't know if you've talked to Kyle, and I know I've talked to you quite a bit, but we don't kill bands. We just don't shoot any type of bands, and it seems like with the number of birds that we kill, we just don't see the bands, and it's really not that important to us to do that.
I thought y'all shot quite a bit of banded geese though, just not ducks.
Maybe like 2 a year.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's it. So
Yeah.
it's, which I'd rather have it that way, to be honest with you. 'Cause,
Yeah.
I mean, there's so many people that are trying to fight over a band and arguments it's just not even worth it.
Yeah.
4 duck bands this year?
3. Well, I guess 4 technically with the double.
Technically,
band.
yeah, 4.
I would
That's pretty
venture to
damn
say
good.
I would venture to say that's a lot higher than most people's
Oh,
stuff.
This year, so we never.
See, I would venture to say that you're at least on the hunts that I've been on, man. Like I think I've shot I think I have 5 bands total. Like that's it. Since I was 16 hunting that much, and how many hunts I've been on, and
So that was my
5
first
bands.
duck band ever.
Second.
And,
You have 2, don't you?
Well, I have 2 now. Well, that's my first one. I don't have. That was my first one ever.
I thought you already had a duck band.
No, I don't have a duck band. And I have 2 geese bands. Goose. So, yeah, I just that was just so cool yesterday with that. And like you said, it seems like I guess like you said, I guess we can look at that and say that we do shoot a fair number of bands, but for the amount of birds we shoot, a year, 300-400 geese a year, you think, wow, that's not very many per capita, for the amount of birds we do shoot.
Yeah.
So
I thought it was cool that it was the last bird that was picked up out the
Yeah.
field too.
Yeah,
that was
awesome.
double banded. That made it cool.
Kind of walking through, making sure we didn't miss any. Really, like
Yeah.
the dogs didn't miss one out there, and sure enough, it's that one. That was sweet. It was just like the 2 bands that we shot second day of season.
Yeah, that was
Mark.
crazy too. 2 bands and a blonde mallard.
But
That
like
was
the
wild.
dog brings it back, throws a duck down. Dog brings another one back, and someone was like, "That bird banded?" Because you had it in your hand.
Yeah, I was
You didn't
like,
even know it was banded.
yeah,
And then I was like, "Well,
You
better
weren't even
check-"
paying attention to it.
it was all covered in mud.
Well, the one that he threw down was banded too. Like, and he never even knew it.
No, and I looked at both. I'm like, oh, pair. I'm like, yeah, they came in as a pair. I was like, we got to look and see,
Yeah.
because they're probably both banded.
It was
That was-
wild.
I've
Yeah.
seen that happen on a hunt though. I was hunting wood ducks close to where I was from, and we had 2 bands get shot on the same day. One of them was banded in Michigan, and one of them was banded in Massachusetts in the same day.
That's crazy.
oh wow, that's
yeah.
pretty cool.
So those 2
Oh,
birds. just
really?
happened to
That's
be-
insane.
Yeah, and they were banded in different years. One was like 3 years old, and one was like 2.
But on the
And they were
same day.
completely different. They were banded polar opposite
Right.
places, and they were killed in the same place in the same day.
That's wild.
It's weird.
That's
You remember what
pretty
city
cool.
in Michigan?
No, and it wasn't. So I had the one from Massachusetts. Another guy had the one from Michigan. So I didn't have that band
Curious.
report.
I shot one out here from Connecticut.
Out here?
Yeah.
That's
Really?
crazy.
Emule, banded
Wow.
mallard in Connecticut, Stratford, Connecticut.
Well, and like to carry on with, I mean, it's South Dakota and Michigan. That's
yesterday.
wild.
Yours was
Yeah.
South Dakota,
South
right?
Dakota, yeah.
Yep.
Wild.
Why?
I don't know. I think we got that big west wind. just a
West
little
wind.
bit ago.
Yeah, there you go. Yep,
mean,
yep. We've had
yeah.
west winds for the past 2 months.
Banded in 22.
Yeah, I don't know that it's necessarily that much to do with the wind direction, though. I'll be honest with you. So they're doing a ton of research on the Atlantic flyways mallards, and it makes me think that like birds, especially birds that are in every flyway, they more commonly will mix or shift between. I would think because they were talking about why is the East Coast flyways mallard population so low, and that there's not a lot of migrators, and what they found is that most of them and up to a certain point are like black ducks, migratory black ducks. We have resident black ducks at home. We don't really get migratory black ducks where we live. They stop in New Jersey, Maryland. They don't really come further south. And then like snow geese, we get snow geese in North Carolina, a lot of them, but they stop in Elizabeth City. It's like it's like right on the border of Virginia Beach. We don't get migrating Canada geese. They stop on the James River in Virginia. It's weird that,
Right.
so I think that a lot of birds will mix up, like if because they're going up they're all flying north and they're going up in the same breeding grounds. And I mean, you hear stories like the other day I seen where a king eider was shot in South Dakota. Like this was like this past week.
Wow.
I've seen that. Like birds
Which
mix
is,
up.
I'm sure very, very rare. I mean, it just doesn't happen.
A bird that belongs in the middle of the Bering Sea is
Right,
being
the
shot
oceans,
on a
yeah.
pothole in South
Bering.
Dakota.
We had those 2 snows in the group.
Oh yeah.
Which
Yeah.
is
Yesterday?
like what I was saying.
Yeah.
We
We
don't
never,
get snows here,
never, ever. That's
which
like,
is-
find snows on a field here, every group in that area is trying to chase them, you
Yeah.
know. And it's wild, and they're like rats down south.
I
We
almost
had
think
that giant flock of sandhill cranes that came in too.
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Right
Get,
at field.
get a ton of those.
Yeah,
get a lot
a
of
ton of
snows.
them. It's their breeding ground up here.
not so much like on this side of the state. The middle of the state gets hammered with them like crazy.
They were silent though. They never
Yeah.
called, not once.
Not once. Until
I've
they,
never seen that.
until they got down. They started going a little bit, but that was it.
Yeah, but I've never seen
Usually-
sandhill cranes that are silent. They always
Really?
Yeah,
Usually going
you
crazy.
hear them a mile away.
I almost think too with migrations, that reverse migration back to the north might get them a little bit mixed up on what way they're going, because like we get a lot of Hudson Bay birds here. I don't know any other state that really gets
Hudson Bay.
like. I mean, I'm sure they do. Don't get me wrong. you don't hear about it a lot, I guess. I don't see reports of like, Minnesota, Hudson Bay birds. They're getting Manitoba up there,
Thunder Bay and stuff. Yeah.
So I don't know.
None of it.
It's all weird. And then they just did the research on those mallards up north where they're not even moving. They're just finding a train carrying grain and going to a hot pond that's all winter long. They're not moving at all.
There was mallards, so in downtown Fairbanks, Alaska, and you know how cold it gets in Alaska, and Fairbanks in particular is really cold. And there's a spot right in town at the bridge that stays open in the Chena River, and there would be mallards there long into the winter. Eventually it would freeze solid, but way longer than there should have been, they were there. So I don't know. I guess as long as they can find something to drink, they're gonna hang around.
I mean, they're just for me, like greenheads too. They're such durable birds. I feel like they're not birds that cold weathers anymore is really just gonna push them down the minute that a cold weather spell hits. They're a hardy bird. You know what I mean? They're a big puddle duck.
Live in a pothole somewhere. Live in a subdivision.
Right. They can handle the weather.
The craziest thing I think about mallard that I've ever seen was we were in North Dakota. This is probably 3 or 4 years ago, and it was so cold. It was freezing cold, man. And there's a little pond and a cornfield right behind it, and we were in these cattails because we could not get permission on that field. And we'd already been out that morning and found a hunt for tomorrow. So we were just like, okay, well, we're just gonna hunt this. And I can't remember if it was Chase or Zane. One of the guys shot a mallard and it fell. And the mallard had eaten so much corn that it busted the side of his. Oh. It busted so like it was inside of his crawl.
Wow.
But it busted the feathers. I got a photo of it. I'll find it. I'll show it to you. And it's we all thought that it was like when it fell. Okay. Sometimes like you shoot a bird high over water and it falls and hits the water, the back will split or something like that. Yeah, so we thought that's what it was, but you could tell it was an old like he had eaten so much corn that it was bulging out, like it split the skin in his crawl, like it was inside of his crawl.
Yeah, that's insane. We had a goose like that earlier with some of our guys around the area.
Ryan and those guys
ate the back of a turtle shell. And the turtle shell, the underbelly of like a turtle shell, and it was lodged in its throat. And it was still alive, and it was sitting on the water, swimming around, and we were like, oh, is somebody going to shoot it? Because it's landed and it's swimming. So we shot it, and we get up to it, that neck was like, that neck was, oh yeah, you were with me. Yeah, that neck was super thick.
Yeah, it flew. It wasn't like it was nothing wrong with it.
I don't think you were there.
Oh no, you weren't there with me.
I thought I was. I thought no, it wasn't.
It was Ryan's dad. Ryan's dad.
You told me the next day.
Yeah. But I mean, his neck was like that. I don't even know how he was alive. Yeah, it was pretty wild.
That's crazy.
I know the geese eat fish and minnows and stuff.
But we pulled it out, man. It was about the size of that, like that, all wrapped up.
I think that's one thing that I love about the sport. Getting to meet everybody that we do, but then you never know what you're gonna see, man. Yeah. Like with a duck like that, a goose like that, whatever, it's and then the migration and stuff. I don't know. It's
so everyone's got good stories about one-off things. I think that they've seen or encountered.
It's pretty nuts. I mean, I'm sure you've had a lot of those traveling the way you are.
Yeah. I mean, I've seen a lot of stuff, man. A lot of different weird stuff. Eric, the guy I was telling you about earlier, if I swear every time that dude goes hunting, something crazy happens. Like he lives in Washington State, and so they have Eurasian widgeon out there. And Eric, he's shot every single type of widgeon. Like he's got a true storm, like absolutely completely cotton white face. Absolutely beautiful storm widgeon. He killed a Eurasian American hybrid. So he has it's all in one mount. He's got these 4 widgeon on it. He's got a horseshoe up his ass, man. I swear. If a man's gonna get shot, he killed it.
Really?
Dude, yes. And
he was the only one to stand up and shoot, like type deal.
Yeah. We were on a river one time, and we were going back up into it, and a group of teal got off. I was like, bro, you're not gonna hit that. And he threw his gun up, and man, those birds, I'm not kidding, they're probably 70, 75 at least. And I could see, like I was standing right there, and I could see like how far he was leading those birds.
Yeah.
Knocked down. I was like, dude, no way.
My God.
Dude,
that's
I've never.
Teal too.
Yeah, teal flying like
a
green-winged teal.
Yeah.
So you all the travels and stuff, and all the places you've been hunting, like what do you prefer, water or fields?
ducks in a dry field is my favorite thing in the world. Just because you can't, like for me, like it's so taboo, if you will, from what we get to do in North Carolina. So if I get the opportunity to hunt ducks in a field, that's it for me.
And mallards. I mean, you'd rather hunt mallards.
I don't really. I'll be honest with you.
Doesn't matter.
I like watching. I like gadwall and widgeon in the field. The way that they commit, they just do it. You know, like mallards sometimes, you know, they get a little weary or, you know, whatever. A gadwall or a widgeon, they're in there. Pintail, they do that. They like to circle. They like to check everything out. Most of the time, you know, you catch one every once in a while that's just doesn't care and just dumps right in. But gadwall and widgeon, they do that. And I like widgeon a lot because they're individuals. You know, like they're not the same. Like not every widgeon's the same. Like the peppering that they have. The green patches they have, every bird is different, and I really like that. I think it's cool.
We just don't get a lot of widgeon up here.
No, we don't.
Maybe one or two a year that I hear just from buddies and stuff like that. But that's gadwall. I feel like it's a seasonal
one this year.
Widgeon you did?
Yeah.
Oh, early in the year.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
Well, that's like one of the things, you know, when we talk about like the waterfowl, the industry and stuff. Like one of my favorite things to do is, you know, getting you guys out, meet new people. I love watching the dogs work. Kai, you know, just watching them work yesterday. I mean, I think that's so cool to see the dogs working. And just like last night, Zach, you know, sent a picture out of the birds. To me, just the pictures, watching the dogs work. And like I said, we didn't shoot a ton of birds, but seeing that stuff, like Kyle said, meet new friends, making memories of hunts and stuff. And, you know, that to me is really, really cool. You know, like, and especially if I had to put one at the top, it'd be like watching the dogs work.
Yeah.
You know, it's really, really cool.
Well, even like going back to what you said earlier about, you know, we were hunting and trying to call the shots, dude. When you're hunting with a big group of people, it can be so tough.
You want
to know
everyone
when
to
to call
shoot.
the- yeah, that's
you
why-
want everyone
like
to have
even
a shot.
like
so
this
it's
morning when them geese flew over on our side, I mean, we could have hammered them, but then you have 8 people
Down at
to
the
the right
end,
of us.
yeah.
But if them birds make one more pass right over the middle and get even lower,
Yeah.
then everybody's going to get a chance to.
Right.
And especially when you're on the end, like where you are, you know, with the dog and everything, it's so hard to tell where the bird is compared to the people on the other end.
100%.
That's
It can be
tough.
real hard.
Especially with like the layout blinds. We never really hunt layout blinds. So
Yeah,
being
Kyle's
that
getting
far down-
frustrated
Well, because
because you don't ever do it, man.
I always want the birds to do it perfect.
I know.
Too perfect sometimes. You know what I mean?
There's nothing wrong with that though. Like I don't really think you should shoot yourself in the foot for wanting birds feet down, backpedaling, and
Squared
decoys.
up.
Yeah.
Like that's really the goal, right?
Right.
All day.
If you're shooting birds that are clearly not committing to the spread, obviously you're doing something wrong. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like something isn't right. Like when a bird, and people get mad about like shooting birds on the water or shooting birds that land in the field. No, you won. Like
Yeah,
at that
right,
point,
right,
like
right.
you did exactly what you were there to do. You won. You beat that bird.
I almost prefer that.
Yeah.
All
Well,
day.
I'm not saying I prefer to shoot them on the ground. It's not that I do, but
Yeah.
I like to see, especially like with geese.
Yeah.
I like to like if you let a few of them land, and then you got more coming in behind them because geese, you know, sometimes they're not always together. Like ducks, they can get a good group of ducks can land and come in at one time.
Simultaneously, yeah.
Geese, not necessarily.
Kind of trickle
You know?
effect with geese.
So if you letting them geese land, and then you got those on the ground, you shoot the ones in the air because it's going to take the ones on the ground a second to get up, and so you're gonna be more successful that way. I like that.
It can also shoot you in the foot though too. Waiting for that first group to land and that they booger out because that back group's just a little too far.
Yeah.
And the first
Drags
one
them
booger
out
out,
with
and and they take them right out there with them.
I guess it depends on what you're trying to do, right? I mean, if you're just going out there and you're shooting, you know, you're shooting like you said yesterday, we had thousands of birds in the air. Do you take the 6-pack to just come right to the decoys, or are you waiting for the 30-pack right behind it? You know, if you're just out there to, you know, kill birds, have some fun, okay, let's take the 6-pack. But then the 30-pack takes off, which they would have committed right behind them. You just never know.
See, that puts you in a weird position too, because I personally don't like shooting into big groups. I love to watch it. It's one of my favorite things to watch about, especially with field hunting and ducks. It's one of my favorite things is to watch, you know, a couple hundred mallards drop into a spread. Mm-hmm. You know, I love watching the show, you know, and you got birds that are flipping and tumbling in high wind situations. It's just beautiful to see. But at the same time, I would prefer to shoot it, you know, groups of 4 to 6, because you're going to be more successful, one, and then two, you're not educating
the whole thing.
1,000 birds.
That's true. Yeah.
You know, for now.
Shoot 3, you just educated 997 type.
Yeah,
deal,
dude. And then also when you have people like that in a big group of birds, it's so like mesmerizing to you that you're just pulling the trigger. You're not even paying attention.
Flock shooting.
Right.
Yeah.
You know?
Bad. Everybody does it from time to time.
Oh,
too.
yeah.
It
I catch
doesn't matter who
myself
you are.
doing it. I'm not even gonna lie.
Yeah.
Especially when they're doing like he was talking and they're working and so beautiful. I'm not worried about where I'm putting this gun.
That's
Dude,
right.
that just bird just
There's
looks
no way
good.
Yeah, birds.
Birds are funny, yeah.
Oh,
And you quickly find out how easy it is.
I got a story about that, boy. When me and Trav were hunting.
Yeah, I was walking down. We had a field, and a bunch of geese were in it. I had to go take a piece. Went down the tree line, and what do you know? The whole roost gets up, and there's probably 300 birds just dumping right into their face. They pulled up, unloaded their guns, and then hit one bird.
Oh man,
When was this?
that was
It
probably
was when we were just starting out.
Oh, really?
5 years
Yeah,
ago.
but I'm sitting there. I'm
But that
like,
was
are
flock
you,
shooting.
like,
That was
kidding
just,
me, right? Like, couldn't hit water for out of a boat.
thought
Like, it was
that's
bad.
That's insane.
We just wake up.
I'd have been
We just
laughing
wake up
so
some
hard.
days and can't hit the broadside of a barn. We were talking about that yesterday in Oklahoma.
that was
bird
bad.
was like,
That
man,
was
right dude. He was like, "Hey, pull it." The bird's sitting out there in the water. Like, just shoot the fucking bird, man.
Yeah.
Misses, and I'm like, all right. And then I go and I'm like, boom, 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 nothing. And he's like,
This bird's maybe 20. Well, yeah, he was like
Hear it
talking
now.
shit. He was like talking shit because I missed. He was like, dude, you ain't worth a damn.
Yeah, you
I was
ain't
like,
worth
you
a
pull your
damn.
gun up, bro. The bird's 20 yards, hasn't moved.
Yeah.
And he empties all 3 and misses. And the bird's still there. I was like, I got 2 more. I'm gonna try it again.
Yeah.
he's doing that
But missed
obnoxious
all of
laugh,
them.
bro.
What's that remind? What's
know you
that
can hear
remind
it
you
now.
of? That reminds me of Ann Arbor. Those 3 birds at fucking 15 yards, man, with
man,
9
that's
people
bad,
or 10
too.
people.
We had a morning like that in Canada.
Yeah, we
Rob
did.
and I couldn't hit shit.
We looked at each other. It was just me and him for, I don't know, probably 4 or 5 days.
Yeah.
First 4 or 5 days. Just
Yeah.
us two
That's sweet,
in
though.
Canada up there
Oh,
chilling.
it was epic.
And
Minus that one day.
I looked at him and he looked at me and we were like, all right, 1, 2, 3. We gotta start doing something. We're
Yeah.
sucking. Like we missed we could have limited out in 20 minutes.
Yep.
Without, like, at first light, those birds were just dumping in and we could not hit the broadside of a barn, dude. And then it was like, all right, we're done missing now. And then it was lights out.
Yeah.
I think we limited in, I don't know, 30, 45 minutes after
just
that.
refocus.
That's crazy.
Yeah, we had to do a little like self motivational
Little pep talk.
So-
and then fixed it.
So, Nick, I don't know if people have been hearing you. You just started waterfowl hunting. That was your first trip, right? Your
Yeah.
first time was when you guys went to Canada.
Yeah, Canada was my first trip. So Canada this year.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, so like 3 months. He's been waterfowl hunting for 3 months. Now, I've been trying to get him to go for 3 years, but finally got him into it. And I knew that. So like Nick is a deep person, you know, like he appreciates that stuff. And so I knew that he would really buy into like learning about the birds. It's not just about, which is cool for me, like because I enjoy getting to see somebody who cares enough to ask questions. You know what I mean? But I knew if he ever went one time, he would be hooked, line and sinker.
Okay, I was hooked immediately.
Oh, that's
Day one in Canada, like we had not even set up a spread to hunt yet. We had just scouted and all this stuff, and he's now seeing all these birds in the field and doing all this. He's like, bro, this is it. This is it.
So now you're
I'm
regretting
hooked.
yourself, like all this time not going.
Yeah, it's like I didn't grow up waterfowl hunting.
Right.
Nobody in my family waterfowl hunted, and you know,
Seeing that
couple
parks
of
and
decades
stuff.
in the Marine Corps, moving around. I just never got into it.
Right.
Like Robert said, he's been trying to get me to go for several years, and I either didn't make the time or the timing just didn't line up. And then this year I was like, fuck it, I'm going no matter what. So I
Right.
put it on my calendar like 8 months in advance.
And I was nervous too about that because my thought process was, all right, well maybe I don't like guided hunts at all. Like that's not my thing. But I was like, man, maybe we should, you know, book a guided hunt or something so that he could, you know,
Get a
like
good
dip his
first-
toe into it. And then he was like, nah, if I'm gonna do it, I'm gonna fucking do it.
Right.
Like I want to be a part of all of it. And I was like, bro, like Canada is like
The place to be.
that's the
Yeah, that's like
bro.
cool
Like,
ass first trip. You go to Canada for your first.
That's like walking out. It's like going deer hunting for your first time and shooting a 12-pointer. Yeah, Saskatchewan.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you guys freelance out there?
Yeah.
I mean, it's like picking up a football for the first time, and then somebody's like, "Hey, by the way, you just got drafted. Super Bowl's tomorrow." You're like, "All right."
I guess that's one way to put it. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it was such a phenomenal trip. But like, he had to, you know, let me know, like, "Hey, man, don't get used to this. Like this is not normal what we're doing up here. So I had to keep that in mind.
Duck hunting is so fun and easy, and this is awesome.
So easy.
This is great.
We just lay here
Come to
and
Michigan again, man.
thousands of birds come in, and we're just limited out, in an hour. And it's like, okay, go home, take a nap, like do it again in the evening. Like, this is great. I'll stay.
Yeah.
I think that's what, like, for newer guys getting into it and stuff, and for me to be able to give, the experience of, like, seeing all those birds yesterday working down into us, or just seeing them fly around, working us a little bit. Like, nobody really gets to see that around here, or like you for just starting out. It's just a memorable thing, I guess.
Let's go to Canada for.
He's gotten trial by fire hose. Trust me. Like, he figured out real quick. Like, you can't be so particular about things. Like, he's getting cussed out at 5 o'clock in the morning. Like, Nick, dude, moving like pond water. Yeah. Like, have to sit behind him with a cattle prod to get him to put stakes out. Because it's like,
it's a learning curve. But
it's a lot to do in a little amount of time. You gotta roll, and then
that's what I told Robert. Like, that's why I'm glad I didn't start off on a guided hunt. You pay somebody a bunch of money, and it's like, hey, sit here. Birds will come in, you shoot them, and then we'll go back to the clubhouse and have bourbon later. Like, I wanted to understand what it is about this sport that Robert loves so much, that he's been trying to get me into. And I got the full experience, like, 5 o'clock in the morning, Robert screaming at me, it's freezing cold, putting up decoys. He's like, you're doing it all fucking wrong. Like, I told you, like, stop, do it this way. I'm like, yes, sir. Like, okay, here we go.
Yes, sir.
Right back in.
Basic training all over again. Here we go.
It was all good until he hit me with a daddy, and then I was like, oh, all right.
But it's one of those things. Like, I came into duck hunting at 46, so it's not like I'm never the youngest person in the group. Most of the time, I'm the oldest person in the group, or one of the oldest. So I had to accept the fact that everywhere we go, everybody knows more about duck hunting than I do. But it's also good because I get to pick up so much, and I have a different perspective than everybody else does. So it was one of those, like, I can either accept the fact that I don't know shit at this point in my life and figure out if I like it, or I can just say, you know what, I'm too old, maybe I just won't get into it.
Right.
You got to have, like, an innocent experience about it. You know what I mean? And you just walk into it, like, knowing nothing, but surrounded by people that just want to see you succeed in it. Yeah. And so you get to be that sponge and just soak it all up. I mean, it's cool, man. You got the cheat code really coming into it.
You get to pick and choose, too, like, what you want to take away from each person that you meet and build your own thing, your own image.
I think what's cool, too, is that you're willing to do that now that you've seen kind of what it is and the people you meet and stuff. I mean, like, you're willing to get out there and say, hey, what do I need to do here? It's not like I'm old, you're not going to tell me what to do. You're willing to see it, and I'm the same way. You learn every day. I don't care if you've been doing it for 30 years or 3 months. Yeah. If you're willing to learn, you're willing to, kind of take a back seat and listen, and eventually you'll start getting in there. But I think that's really cool. And I think, like you said earlier, we've only been doing this for 7 years. 8 or 7, 8 years. Mm-hmm. So it's not like we grew up doing it. Like I was telling him a story today, we grew up deer hunting. Mm-hmm. He went out one day and he started duck hunting. I said, "You are absolutely nuts, man. What are you doing? It's deer hunting season. You ain't going duck hunting." He's like, "Yeah, I'm gonna go up to the bay." And I'm like, hey, "You're out of your mind." Because there's some ducks here. It was during a rut. I'm sitting here. We didn't see a deer. He comes back with 3 or 4 ducks. I'm like, "Oh, Dad, it was a blast." I'm like, "Oh, you got to be kidding me." Well, hey, come on, do it one time. I shot 1 goose, and I'm holding it up. I got gray sweatpants on.
Gray sweatpants, dude.
Look at that picture, dude.
That's probably in like a Great Lake Outdoors calendar somewhere, ain't it?
Captain Jim's after with my gray sweats on and my turtleneck, and we had
turtleneck Tim's.
Yeah,
I was thinking that dude last night at the Easter Bunny got his fit from your closet, bro. Nah, I can tell you, you got to be a trooper to damn hunt with Robert sometimes. Like you were just saying, getting cussed up, bro. He would take you on a wild goose chase sometime. We were in Kansas last year hunting public land. He's talking about he had some pins. The pins were all wrong from the dude who was supposed to give them to him. And Robert's like trudging through this flooded cornfield on public land, and he's like looking at the phone, on one phone, talking on the other, and I'm like 300 yards back behind him, and he's looking back. Hurry the fuck up, hurry up. What are you doing? I'm like, dude, I have 3 dozen decoys on my back. I'm carrying both our guns. I've got Kai beside me.
I got the platform for Kai, and you're over there talking on the phone, cussing out a random dude, talking about hurry up and screaming at me.
Coming in at 130.
Dude, I was damn near about to throw it down, talking about, you come pick this shit up and let me find the damn pin. Damn old man.
Dude,
Damn.
was the same way. He's in the passenger seat. He's like, you're driving. He's got 2 phones, 1 in each hand, 2 different apps rolling, and like it was nonstop. I mean,
That's what you have to do.
And that is 3:30 in the morning and cold too. Like, dude, shut up.
All night to get to Saskatchewan. Slept in the truck. Up the next morning, and I'm like, okay, what are we doing? He's like, fucking scouting. What do you think we're doing?
Yeah, so I went right to.
doing it.
You know?
Like we drove from North Dakota straight to Saskatchewan, straight to like one of my pins. And because it's a pull off the road, and so we drove straight there. And I was like, okay, well, this would be a good place to sleep because it's like an hour or so away from where we're going to end up, but it'll be a good area for us to start scouting in. And then sun comes up, and we're in the birds already. Like we're already in the birds, marking them down. And it's weird. Like a lot of the time that we hunted in some of the same areas that we hunted, the year before, seeing the same things. So it's cool to see, consistency in that area, and it gives me a lot of confidence to keep coming back and feeling a lot better about that particular area and just keep working that. But yeah, I mean, it's trial by fire for sure. You just gotta adapt fast if it's something. But I was the same way, I was treated the same way, like went up there to hunt this place with Eric, and it's a property in Roy. It's a piece of private land that they had leased for a few years, and it's just like Taj Mahal, the duck blind, but it's in sheet water. And so Eric gets out of the truck, he grabs his gun, takes off walking, and then he's got jet sleds, and you're responsible, like, I'm the decoy boy today, you know what I mean? So here I am dragging this like 250-pound sled full of shit across this sheet water, and he's like, oh, be careful up there's a ditch. Don't step in it. And then he keeps on going. I'm like, okay, well, where the fuck's the ditch at? So I'm just like, now I'm like tiptoeing, right? Because I don't want to fall in. I'm a fat dude. They're gonna have to get me out of there with a forklift or an excavator or something. I'm not just gonna be able to step out of this hole. Like somebody's gonna have to come rescue me by helicopter.
Right.
And so I'm like trying not to fall in. Now I'm like walking foot by foot. So I feel like, it's my time. I get to pass that along a little bit and yell at somebody every once in a while.
You got Marshall carrying more weight than
he weighs.
Right?
Yeah.
Dude, thighs were burning, dude. I'm telling you, dude. Like that. Like,
That's a bad one.
I know the feeling, trust me.
And it wasn't like we were walking straight to the pin. We were walking straight circles around this whole area. Like,
Yeah.
Like, I'm already pissed off because I'm on the phone with the dude. I'm trying to explain, trying to get him to tell me where it's at. Because he sent me the pin, and I'm like walking to the pin. I'm like, brother, I'm standing right where the fuck the pin is. There is nothing here.
The pin was like
what
the
are you
boat
talking
landing.
about?
Yeah.
Man, that would be a sight to see.
Another thing that you were saying earlier that it kind of hit a little bit. So, like, listen to the traveling and the stuff that you've done and the places that you've gone. We've never done that, right? We've never traveled. We've never went out of state. We've never done anything like that. But we have the birds here, right?
Yeah.
We have what we need here. But at some point, I think we need as a group to go do something like that, because it's just listen to the stories and just the guys out there and just listen to the things you go through, like freelancing some birds and stuff. But we never leave because we have them. At some point, we need to go.
It'll test you as a waterfowl hunter. I'll tell you why. Because comfort is complacency, right? Like, you guys are so comfortable here.
Yes.
So comfortable. You have a routine. You hunt this particular area, and when you get done, you go to this restaurant, and you see this lady who lets you guys in with your little party and locks the door behind you because it's not open to the public yet. And you guys have all of these little things, and what that does is it makes you complacent over time if you don't push yourself as a waterfowler. So I would challenge you to do that. Be like, okay, pick a state. Like any state you want to go to, I don't care, Kansas, Oklahoma, Arkansas, whatever. Pick a state wherever you want to go, and then build the plan, build your team, and go do it. And if you just because you didn't come home with a truck full of ducks doesn't mean anything. But you push yourself out there, But you push yourself out there in an area and terrain that you're not familiar with, people that you don't know, and you have to think outside of the box. For like right here, I remember this morning you were talking about trying to get permission on that pond that they went and shot up, and you're like, I'm gonna make that my goal. I'm gonna try and do that. And he's like, yeah, don't even worry about it. I work that guy every day. You're not gonna get it. Go to a place that you're not from, so that you can push yourself in. It'll make you a better hunter, man. 100%.
That's why I know I've been trying to get in Kyle's ear a little bit about going, because I've done quite a few states, and man, it just the way that people do things and think about things is totally different. And you might be hunting the same kind of birds, but some of the tips and the tricks that they have and the things that they say, I'm like, man, I never even thought about it that way. But it makes so much sense. You learn and you build your loadout of a hunter. I think is tenfold how much you can learn and build out.
Well, dude, last year I took him. It was me, him, and our friend Brandon. We went up to New England to go do some eider hunting and brant and stuff like that, because Brandon needed to kill an eider and a brant. No, he had a brant. I think he needed an eider.
Yeah.
So anyway, so we go up there, and coming from a guy who's done nothing but wood duck hunt, now we're in this big water in this river in a 13-foot little
It wasn't that. It was just like the sea duck hunting. It was like
Then we get up there.
I was like, this is not gonna work. There's no way.
This ain't gonna work.
I was like, dude, we're not gonna shoot shit laying on this beach on a blanket with a string of decoys 10 yards in front of us. We look like a bunch of idiots if somebody rides by right now.
So I walk the eider decoys out. Like I'm in waders, and I just walk out. I drop the weight, walk down, drop the other weight. And I'm like, all right, well, here's these ghillie blankets. Just lay here on the beach. And he's like, you got to be shitting.
I can just see it, dude.
There ain't no fucking way, Robert. You are a dumbass. We are not. What are we doing here, bro?
Right.
Where do you got me? And you even posted.
I was trolling, bro.
Were you?
Yeah, I was like, these got me out here. I said, this boat is the same IQ as Robert. It was a boat from like 1940, dude. It looked rusted out,
Oh my
piece of
God.
shit. I was like, this is Robert if he was a boat.
Sitting on the beach with his frog talk waiting.
And then the next thing you know, the eider's dumping there and knock him down. He's like, all right.
They active.
I'll tell you what though, like when we go out of state, some of the funnest time that we have is like just dead ass in the truck. Like just drive. Like bro, he's been like, we need to just put a GoPro and mount it in the truck and just listen to what the fuck you're saying later
got some
on.
diabolical clips of us from North Dakota in the road.
Some of the
Us on the way home
it's the
from, Bay
funnest
City.
shit.
Yeah.
Bay City, we were same
Just
shit.
the experience, and then like you appreciate like a lot of times you don't smack down on the like we went to Oklahoma last year and we did not smack down on the birds, but I killed one fucking stud canvasback, and I mean it just makes the whole like that one bird to be like, and that made the whole trip worth it. Just being around all these people and getting to experience this, and then you come home with even just that one trophy instead of limits and limits of mallards.
Right.
But you saw something. You saw things that you wouldn't get to see anywhere else.
Yeah, I saw a pelican. I was trying to shoot it, and Rob was like, "Don't shoot the pelican."
Don't shoot that.
Hey, we got them out here too. I didn't really see a lot this year though.
There's a handful.
Was there?
I had to beat on him and all. I was like, Rob, come on. He was like, bro, what if the DNR finds out? I was like,
But that's cool. That's kind of what I was saying, that you guys travel, and that's I think something that we need. Like you said, you get complacent, right? I mean, you know exactly what you're doing. You're scouting the same places. You're doing the same thing. But I just think as a group, it'd be really cool to do something like that, like to push ourselves, or and like you're saying, that it doesn't matter what you're coming home with. It's the experience. It's the one thing you did that you'll never forget. And I think that's cool. And like I said, you guys come out from North Carolina. The results wasn't there, but we made a friendship.
Yeah,
And that's the cool part for me too.
yeah, a lot of people
Blocking
get
our number as they leave today. As he's blocking our number. When
a lot of people get lost in the power pics. They do. They get lost in power pics on social media.
Social media's not been good. It's been good, but not good at the same time.
I would say that it is a at this point, and it's good overall. I would say that it's a good thing, because if you really get down and dirty and you think about it, man, like I wouldn't be here without it. I wouldn't be like literally sitting in this room or where I'm at with my business.
Right.
And so it's a blessing and a curse. I think, social media does a lot of good things by connecting people, especially helping people to find, good resources. There's plenty of good resources out there. And then there's plenty of things that, that can be, negative if you let it.
Right.
You can hide behind it. A lot of people, I think, they hide behind it, and then they're presenting this unrealistic expectation of waterfowl. We could have very easily had the birds from yesterday and the birds of today, put them together, taken a photo. Nobody would have known otherwise that we did that, right? And we could hide behind that moment right there, or we could just be ourselves.
I've heard that a lot from people, even all over the place. But saving the birds from like a week prior and taking a picture.
For
of
what?
the
Really?
birds.
Oh yes, they have a big stack. Yeah, dude. A lot of people do. A lot of people do that. No, there's a lot.
Like what we were talking about, we do troll a little bit though. Like he was talking about
That's like
yesterday.
having burner birds, bro.
He was gonna hold up. He was gonna hold up the floor and be like, "Man,
Yeah,
did it by myself
solo
today."
dolo hunt today.
It's just me and my only today. Right. There's 16 people sitting behind. Solo
Solo dolo.
on my own, baby. Did it on my
Even
own.
like it gets weird too though, because me and you have talked about like a lot of the older people in waterfowl hunting. They hate the younger, like
Hate it.
people my age.
Yeah,
they
they
fucking
do.
despise them. They don't like the way
Yeah.
they hunt, and they don't want to help them. They want to do. It's like they gatekeep waterfowl hunting. I'm like, y'all aren't gonna be here forever.
Yeah.
Like, y'all are
They're
getting
the
up
ones that
there.
cause the problem, so they want to complain about.
They complain on social media about the way that young people hunt, and then just talk shit and don't ever try to help them or help them grow as
5
hunters.
seconds that it
Yeah.
would take to be like, hey man,
Yep.
Or just be like, let's hunt, especially on public land. Just hunt the whole together.
Right.
Just hunt the whole together.
That's how I met Ray.
Is it?
Before I even knew Kyle. Yeah. Oh, years ago. Probably like what, 7, 8 years ago. It's probably been a long time.
That's probably 5, 6 years ago.
Yeah, long time. Yeah,
That's
same
wild.
thing. But he's right. I met him, and I was going to the same hole he was in. He said, "Hey, man, just come sit with us."
Yep.
That was it.
I was pretty green, right? And we were sitting there, we were hunting. It was just two of us, and Alex walks by, and we're like, "Oh, hey, where you hunting at?" And he's like, right over here." I said, "Well, we're hunting here. Why don't you just hunt with us?" Swear to God, even the second time I met him, he's like, "You remember me?" I said, "No clue who he was." But I invited him to hunt with me that one day, and he remembered me from 5 years ago.
That is crazy.
That I invited him in to hunt with me because it was just. Why fight about it? Why get a spot? Why not try to meet new people, or why not just try to work together and do it the right way instead of, battling all the time? And like you said, if somebody's doing something wrong, explain to them what they're doing wrong. Or hey, what did I do wrong? Or what did you think I did wrong?
See, that gets
Well,
tough though because
Yeah,
you
because
gotta have.
I thought I did it right.
No, but like you gotta also have that person that you're trying to teach something to that might not always work a lot.
Yeah.
Like take a little of that information in. They need to want to take that in.
No, for
If
sure.
you just say that
Sure,
to somebody
yeah.
and they don't want it, like any
Yeah.
info from you, then
yeah.
Some people are resistant to new information. Like
Right.
they
Right.
just
They're stubborn.
They just don't want the information. So
Right.
you have to be willing to be like, you know what? I don't know what I don't know. So if I can learn something from you or whatever,
Right.
then I've got something to take away that made me better at it. And especially
Right.
if you're new,
Right.
just ask questions.
Well, it goes back to like the first time me and you talked on that call with my dad.
Yeah.
There's levels to the thing, man.
Yeah, like
there's-
seasons of being a waterfowl hunter. You
Right.
know, like most people come into this sport and then they get that hook. You know, and then when that hook is set, they just want to kill.
Yeah.
And then after you've done that for a while, and then you're like, okay, well now maybe I want to focus on targeting a specific thing. You know, like hey, I want to shoot a lesser Canada goose. Okay, well then I'm going to go to an area where I know there's concentrations of these birds, and I'm going to hunt here. And then you get to a place like where I am now. Like, don't get me wrong, man. I love pulling the trigger. I love it. But what I love way more is watching my dog work.
Right.
And like I'm challenged by him. Like he pushes me. In a lot of it for the sport. Like there's days that I don't want to go. I don't want to get up. But my dog is like that's what he lives for. Like we have all these things that we enjoy, going to the bar, going to the restaurant, riding in the truck. All that dog lives to do is go pick up a bird. And so that
whole life.
pushes
Yeah.
that pushes me to do it. Even more than my own drive is.
Well, you can tell he was
And
jacked
watching-
this morning.
Yeah, he was.
Oh, he's ready, bro.
Yeah,
he's
jacked
ready to
this
go.
morning.
Oh yeah.
Yesterday, not so much just because it's probably just such a long day.
Well, I did something. I messed him up. Like when I sent him into that flock of birds to get him up when they landed 300 yards out.
Yeah.
Like that, he knows that he's not supposed to do that. So, but I sent him. I was.
That's a hard-
So then I'm forcing my dog to go run into there to
train him
to
not to
kill-
do.
He's not-
Yes,
yeah.
exactly.
I got
Yeah.
you.
So now he's like thrown off. He's
Yeah.
confused.
Right,
But
right.
dogs have bad days too, and I figured that out real quick on running him through those master tests. Like dogs have bad days just like we do, and when they have a bad day, it's just not going to be good.
Let's say you said what the trainer was like. Don't be mad at the dog, be mad at yourself.
Yeah. Jake was the guy that he bred Kai, and then he trained him too. And I'd gone to this hunt test, and Kai failed. In reality, like I was super pissed at him, and I was super pissed at the dog, and I was, walking off the line. I put his lead on, and I grab his lead, and I take off, and I'm walking way faster than he is. I'm not dragging him, but you could tell I'm pissed.
Yeah.
I had this blank stare on my face, and I was like, bro, we failed. And he's like, no, you failed.
Eye opener.
You failed, and I was like, damn. And it didn't hit me at first. At first, I wanted to be pissed off. I'm not even gonna lie. I just watched my dog fail, and then you're just gonna tell me I failed. That was fucking him. He did that shit. And he's like, no, bro, you should have blown that whistle 30 yards ago. You failed that dog. He didn't fail. You screwed him over. And then I was like, damn.
We do that with the dogs. I mean, look at a dog who go out to pick up a bird. You see a flock coming, you're like, come on, or leave it. Let's go. You're training that dog to do a specific thing.
Yeah.
And then you're trying to tell the dog to do something totally different.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, well, what do you want me to do? The dog doesn't know. You're giving it two commands at the same time. One you told him not to, one you told him to do. Next thing you know, the dog's confused, and is it the dog's fault? Absolutely
well,
not. It's your fault.
in those master tests, man, they're testing the absolute limits of that dog's ability. You know what I mean? So they're doing things like when those judges lay out that test, they have to sit there and talk and agree that it meets all the elements of the master test, right? And then they'll set stuff up where maybe drag back scent. So there's going to be a triple and then at least one, if not a double blind, right? And so they might set the blinds up where they're crossing over drag back scent from the marks, and there's 60 dogs in a flight. So you got 3 dogs, it's 180 ducks that are being drag back scent, not including the blind. So when Kai was veering off, in my mind at the time, I was like, all right, well, he'll dig it out. He'll dig it out because it was on a marked tree. No, it was a blind, and he was knowing me off. Well, what I should have done when he was going, blown that whistle earlier and pushed him, give him a right angle back, get him away from that drag back scent, and then give him a left angle back and put him on the bird. It's what I should have done. But I just let him go, and then he got sucked into that drag bag.
Yeah.
When, he's smelling the duck. He knows there's a duck back there, and there is.
Yeah.
But he's not, and I'm mad at him when in reality, I screwed him over.
Right.
And we get so emotional about our dogs too, and we get so worked up about, everything to do with this sport. And I think sometimes, and myself included, especially, we just need to check ourselves a little bit.
Yeah, good stuff right there, yeah, for sure.
I mean, that's one thing that's nice about this year so far, though. Like Brian, the guy that usually comes out and takes pictures for us.
Yeah.
His dog usually only hunts water, and he was all nervous about taking he wanted his dog to go out in the field hunt. I was like, well, just bring him out. I don't care. Which we've been getting better. It's almost like the seasonal thing, but just in a different aspect of it all. Because we used to want the dog to come back, hurry up, and because the next flock was coming. Now it's to the point where I don't care if that dog, he's a new dog out there. I don't care if he burns a flock or two because there's going to be another flock behind it. Yeah. So if you want to get your dog some experience out there, I'm not talking about trial dogs or anything like that. Just
he's a house dog. I mean, a house dog that retrieves birds. I mean,
that's what all of our dogs are.
Yeah. So if he burns a flock or two, I think the second flock he jumped out on, and Brian was pissed. And it's like, listen, man, it's his first time doing this. You don't know,
never
feel nothing.
Yeah.
So,
but
we shooting up birds where it's like, hey, you know what? Oh well. And you're right. I think we've gotten a lot better. Like you said, you stop for a second and kind of take it in, and you learn from past that it doesn't have to always be just, like you said, the piles. It's, man, he just got a great experience, and he was more than thankful having his dog out there the very first time ever. That makes it cool for us too.
Right.
I used to get on when I just started hunting with Kyle and the group this year. We hunted last year one time together. We did a podcast and stuff, and he's like, "Hey man, what do you think about hunting with us full time?" And I came on, and I'm like you, where I get pissed, if she's not perfect, and I want her to be perfect. I've taken her. She's hunted with guide groups in Arkansas and stuff, and she's done all types of shit and been all over. And I've been in front of crowds where it's like, if she doesn't get that bird and bring it straight back to my heel, the guys are looking at me down the blind like, why aren't you frying that dog? Why aren't you scolding that dog? But it was really refreshing to get with these guys and hunt with them and be able to run the dog. She wasn't good on geese either. You know what I mean? She's a smaller dog, kind of like Kai, and she had trouble picking them up. She never really did it. Yeah. So it's cool to get with these guys and be able to teach the dog and me learn myself too, still learning her and her still trusting me fully, you know. And to have a group that's so understanding.
I'm very careful about when I use that collar.
Yeah.
I'm very careful about that because you know, really, which he's only done it once. It was actually the first time. No, it was the second time. The first time he ever hunted was in upstate New York on geese. Jake was like, "Hey man, like he's at a place in his training where he needs to hunt.
Yeah.
Like he needs to see why he's doing all this, right?" And then and Kai's little, you know, just for all y'all watching and listening, he's 48 pounds. You know, he's a small framed lab. And so we're up there hunting Canada geese and knock a Canada goose down. He's standing across the field and sing Kai after it. The goose is standing up like he's alive. And this Kai's like running at this goose, and that goose turns at him, opens them wings up and starts hissing at him. Kai turns around and all his hands right back. I'm like, bro, I ain't even mad. I was mad, but I'm like, man, if I'm Kai, I really like.
Never
I
seen it
understand.
before,
I get it.
you know what I mean?
I get it.
And then the second time, he did eventually pick the bird up after somebody had to shoot. I think Ben ended up shooting the bird, and now it's dead. And then he goes and picks it up, and he's good. He's fine. But we go to Arkansas specklebelly hunting. And like in my mind, I'm thinking like this is no big deal, you know. Like this is what he lives for right now. It was 15 people, all in A-frames, and he was sitting inside the blind with us, which is not what he had been, you know, really doing before. He'd been in a hut or, you know, on a platform in training or whatever, and so now he's sitting on the floor right in front of us in a big line, and 15 people, you know, shoot 45 shells go off it, you know, right then. He thinks World War III's going on. He hauls ass out of the blind, and dude, I've got one hand on the button and one finger flipping the note dial up as hard as I can because he broke.
Yeah.
You know, and that's like a lot of people don't understand. Like if a dog breaks like that could be that dog's life.
Right.
And so at this point, now you're building that relationship of trust with this dog, and if you use those moments to use the collar in moments that, you know, are really important. You know, like we cross the road. Every time we've hunted, we crossed the road this morning. Yesterday, we had to walk across the road. I need that dog to walk right beside me.
Yeah.
If he's just running, doing his own thing, he's going to get killed.
Right.
You know, he's not paying attention to a car. He's excited about going hunting. You know, he's not watching.
Right.
So, like, that trust is built in that obedience. And knowing, like, okay, well, if he does something crazy, he's going to get corrected for it.
Yeah.
You know, but it's not, you know,
100%.
these dogs also, you know, I've seen, you know, Rip and Birdie too, just running around like they're very, you could tell they're very loved dogs. You know what I mean?
Right.
Oh, yeah.
And then they get out here and yesterday, you know, Rip was laying on his back, just chilling in the field, laying down, taking a nap.
Big old babies, man.
We get back last night. Nick's over there, got Kai laid back on his back, rubbing his belly.
Did jar peanut butter with you too?
No,
You're lost.
Okay.
It's having a good time.
dude,
right.
it's
Had a
crazy
pink
work.
bodysuit on and everything.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now
That's funny.
that bar makes a lot more sense.
Yeah.
You're lost. That's crazy.
What kind of going back to like the combat waterfowl. How do you come up with these shirts, man?
Dude,
Your designs, man, they're so unique.
I really wish I could tell you. Sometimes, you know, somebody will like spin me an idea. I think Marshall actually was the one that, which it ain't out yet, but Kodak Quack. I think Marshall was like, yeah, you should do Kodak Quack.
Dude, I get drunk and just start thinking of these things.
Like
That's my 45-minute shower. That's what I'm in there doing.
All right, don't even
Hey, because I told you the same thing on the way to the field that morning, man. I was like, I'm always waiting for
Philosophical
somebody
Marshall
to
comes
do
out and
these
get a new
designs.
But yeah, so I guess you know, if you come like if there's current event or something that's going on, like that'll come up. Like a couple years ago, that farmer ran through the snow goose spread in Arkansas. I had a shirt out in like a week.
Did you? Oh my
I
God.
feel like it'd be relevant. Though.
And then there's stuff that, like there's our own character development that we do, like Kudakis or whatever, right? Like Kudakis is his own little character, and he has his own little personality. And then, you know, there's like other ones that are based on, you know, musicians or artists, you know, like Morgan Collin or, you know, Dolph or whatever.
Yeah.
You know, Chuck Norris is one of our own character development ones, you know, and so like they each carry their own little thing. As far as like coming up with ideas or whatever, it's endless, because for me and like the brand, as long as it's funny
You know, there's never you're never going to run out of ideas. It's impossible to run out of ideas.
Right.
But as long as there's current events happening in the world.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's constant. You know, something's always going on.
Especially with our pop culture, because things are so up and down and fast to rise and quick to fall.
Volatile, man.
Yep.
Yeah, I don't know. Like I said, the first time I seen you guys was the McGanser one, and seeing your stuff all the time. And then, you know, big shout out to Mark for hooking us up.
Yeah, 100%.
And I don't know. It's cool to see behind the scenes, and I don't know, get to know you guys this weekend.
Likewise, man. And that kind of went when Mark joined us in Canada. He spoke super highly of you guys. He was like, "Hey, Robert, you really need to give Ray a call. Here's his number. Give him a call. They're up there in Michigan. I just went over there, spent some time with them. They're great people. You know, you need to go." And it's awesome to, you know, have those people that are in this industry that are like, "Hey, man, like this is a good dude." So it's like an instant vouch. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's like, you know, somebody that you respect is telling you, "Hey, listen, these are great people." You know, and then it's like an instant vote of confidence, and it expands your network. You know what I mean?
100%.
Yeah.
And you know, I got to thinking about that the other day, and I was like, man, you know, when like, okay, we blew a turbo in the truck coming back from a trade show in Montgomery, Alabama, and Marshall got on the phone, and within, you know, 2 hours, that truck was picked up off the road, taken to somewhere, and you know, the trailer gotten off the road, like just really because of relationships that he has, you know, going around. And then I started thinking about that too, and I'm like, as many states and as many different places as we go hunting, I don't know if I can drive through a state without finding at least somebody that I know that if something bad happened, like I gotta pick up the phone and call them and be like, "Hey man, like, you know," and that's super cool, and to be able to do that all over a bird,
Right. Yeah.
really, that's all it is, a bird and a phone.
Yeah.
Yep.
You know, and it's cool that it puts things in place in your life like that.
Right. You guys got anything else? I know these guys gotta get on the road and
No, it was just
head back.
great to meet you guys. I had a lot of fun with you guys this weekend hunting and talking bullshit and getting to know you guys and know, you know, a little bit of your guys' background, where you guys come from, and yeah, man, I enjoyed it a lot.
Now you get a hold of Marshall and see what kind of hair products.
We're gonna get you some wings, dude. Don't worry, we're gonna get you some wings.
Same with me. I just wanted to thank you guys. And like I said, the first time I talked to you, and like Kyle said earlier, big shout out to Mark with Migra, Rio Butyl. Just really cool making the connections and stuff, and appreciate you guys being here. Again, did what we could this weekend. I think in the future it'll be a lot better. Well, can't say that because you never know what the birds are going to do. But no, I just want to thank you guys, and it's been great meeting you, and glad you guys got a chance to come up. So.
That is one thing though that is nice. I know we keep on saying, sorry, it's like things we can't control, and to find like-minded people that understand that, because you get some guys that just want to kill like we talked about, but to find people that understand and get it, I guess, you know.
Yeah, I mean, I get it, bro. Like, we're gonna get in the.
No, we don't get it. Actually, we don't get it. Unacceptable.
By the time this episode,
Robert's gonna be blocking you. He's gonna be cussing me out because the damn blow dryer in the back seat's gonna be going off.
Yeah,
And because he can't listen to his Christmas tunes up front.
we get out of the parking lot. You know, by the time this episode gets out to the people, y'all already be blocked. So
Hell yeah.
a real burner of an episode.
Post a TikTok, fuck Michigan.
Horrible lakes outdoors.
But yeah, again, I appreciate meeting you guys. It was a pleasure having you guys up here.
Likewise, man. Thank y'all for everything.
Yeah, of course. Hopefully you guys trust us again to come back up here and.
Yeah, we're gonna have to bring y'all down south. I think y'all need to see a little bit of what we got.
Yeah.
Some divers and sea ducks, layout boats, stuff like that.
It'll be a good time. But thanks for everybody tuning in on this week's podcast. Again, thank you guys, and see you guys on the next one.
Peace.
All right, thanks, guys.